So, cards on the table straight up front on this one. I didn't actually know that much about this station. I have the regular one station from Star Trek 2, but this one sort of, I knew it was new out and it looked quite intriguing, and I knew I sort of recognised it, but I wasn't sure from what. And I was getting a 3 for 2 offer, so I thought I would get this into the mix. So I'm going to get it out and show it to you whilst I chat about it, because I've just done a little bit of research about it, so I know what I'm talking about roughly. And it is quite an intriguing design, this one, because it's actually got 2 bases. So I'll show you for why as I open her up. I'll just start with a little bit of controversy. You see those solar panels? They are screaming Babylon 5 to me. Yeah, I know that's extreme heresy when I'm looking at a Star Trek model, I know, and I really wish Eaglemoss would do the Babylon 5 universe. Pretty please, thank you. Just got that in there now. Okay. So we have 1 tall plastic strut and 2 tall plastic struts. Okay. Oops. That's the most stable outside of whatever it is they're designed to plug into, I think. Oh, hang on. Okay. So quite tricky to know how best to get into this one. Look, wow, that's whoa. Okay. Okay. So the actual okay. Oh, okay. I feel like there should have been some advance warning for that. So if I make this out, the station is kind of buried. It's buried in there, which makes perfect sense because this is obviously going to be quite delicate, so they very cleverly sandwiched it all in. Now, I'm just going to pop that down there. Sorry if that's not the in shot, but I don't want to do anything with that until I've got the stands ready, because I think that might be important for the purposes of structural integrity. The first thing you might notice about this station when you see it properly is that it does not look like many other stations that we see in the series. And I've just seen on a Trek Yards video that it was designed by Rick Sternbach, who is responsible for a great many of the designs of the modern era, and he based it loosely on a picture of a station in Jean-Luc Picard's quarters on the Enterprise. Not exactly like this at all, only a sort of single structure, but he also looked at the original movie Space Dock in terms of having a very sort of tall vertical structure as a station. And basically, obviously, this one is kind of twinned in that respect, because it has 2 vertical struts to it, and it's joined laterally by sort of interconnecting, walkways, structures, and so on. Now, this is called Jupiter Station. There is debate, it would seem, as to whether or not it was the only Jupiter Station, because Jupiter Station is mentioned as a Mako training ground in Star Trek Enterprise, so that would be 22nd century. But we also see it in Star Trek Voyager in a reasonable amount of detail externally, actually. I've just watched the episode briefly to have a look at it. And it's Season 6, Episode 24, Lifeline, he says from memory. Basically, the holographic EMH goes back to try and help his creator with a medical problem that he has. And his creator lives on Jupiter Station, hence the reference. So this is that station, and as I say, it's rather unique in having this sort of twin structure. Look, just look at the size of that. That's almost the entirety of the internal box. It's an incredible amount of packaging for that. That's yeah. I really wish it was recyclable. I suspect that it isn't. Now, I don't know. This'll. There's quite a big leaflet for it, actually. Okay. I'm just having a look at the standard assembly instructions there, which are in the front. So as you can see, it's going to be quite an interesting one to set up. So you've got a Jupiter station specification, a research station, Jupiter orbit, Sol system, active 24th century. So we're not sure whether or not the version of it that's mentioned in Enterprise is this version. It looks like, for all the world, as if it's made up of saucer sections, 3 on each segment. Maybe Ambassador class, I've heard suggested. Now the sort of solar arrays, which do look like Babylon 5 solar arrays, are presumably just that. But it's also got 2 large vertical struts that sort of come down from the saucer section segments. And I actually wonder whether or not they're designed to generate energy from Jupiter's magnetic fields, maybe, as well. I know that there is a theory, I believe, whereby if you sort of run a long enough wire through a planet's magnetic field, you would generate current off the back of it. I think, did they experiment with that on the International Space Station? Am I completely making that up? I don't know. Quite possible, but I think that is a potential thing. So that might explain that. It may just be that they are simply where its general generators are sort of placed. I don't know, but I think it's just various details about the episode in there. Let me see if I can get this set up correctly then. So we have one there, and we have another here, and I have to slot okay, I have to slot this. Sometimes these worry me. This is like my bird of prey. And look how thin those little spikes are there. They're just begging me to drop it and bend those, aren't they? Okay, I'm free and clear. There we go. Now then. Okay. Have I mentioned that I have depth perception issues? That's probably not a good time to have depth perception issues, is it? See, I'm doing my best not to break it. And I very nearly am. I think I'm in on both sides. Okay. And when do we stop? Okay, there. Whew. This is not its final resting place either, so transporting this one would be something of an issue. That does... I suppose it could kind of rotate around itself. So there you go. So that's how it displays. And you can't really see the solar panels from this sort of angle. It basically says United Federation of Planets. Oh, it says Jupiter Station on it as well. It looks like it's got its own logos on top as well. You can probably see those more clearly perhaps on the actual top there. So you can see that. So there were 2 different logos there that it's got on top of it, which is so it's quite decorated for a sort of Starfleet station, really. Let me just try and shuffle it forwards for you. This is less than straightforward when it's got 2 separate stands, and literally the only thing really joining it together is yeah. You can see the those decals there. I mean, obviously they're not really decals because it says Eaglemoss. They're just on it. They're sort of painted on. And you can see these are the solar panels on this this axis here, but I mean, it's probably about as tall as the regular station. There's lots of nice sort of there's antennae details here. These all sort of individual struts coming up here and here. As you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3 saucer sections effectively. I mean, it would make sense to use them as for station pieces because obviously you've already got the schematics for them, the designs for them. These to me look like they could well be almost like sort of warp cores. I think it said it had 600 people on it, so I'm not sure that you actually need that much power. But that being said, if it is a research station, maybe they would need some excess power to run whatever experiments are happening. So I'll just try and twist it around a little bit so you can get another angle on it if I can. There there's definitely a knack to moving this one around. How's that? Yeah, so you can see it's going to require quite a lot of display space because it's not just tall, it's also quite wide with the solar panel array there as well. Maybe the communication arrays, I don't know. I'd have to read the booklet in more detail. But there's a lot of the sort of the inside source section elements here are in shadow quite a lot. But I can even then I can still see a lot of detail inside there, as you would expect from a sort of primary saucer section whole piece. So that's not that surprising. But it's it's a very clever idea that they've to be able to actually sort of reproduce it, so that they've used two stands. That's quite a it's a clever move on their part to by Eaglemoss to actually try and represent it in this way, and it just goes to show how much effort they put into identifying potential structures and ships that they can take and make models out of, because I mean it's no small feat to have done that. Totally terrifying to get out of its box, and it must be terrifying to then bring it into the box to make sure it transports all right. But that's done really well for itself. So yeah, I think this one's pretty new as well at the time of recording. So hopefully people will be interested in seeing this, and I've given you a reasonable look at it. I mean, obviously, were it one of the ships, I'd be able to bring it nearer the camera. But why not do something radical and bring the camera nearer to it, eh? Because that almost never happens. So let's do that. There we go. Yeah, it's focusing in all right, actually. So that'll just give you a slightly better idea, I think, won't it, of what's what. Look, it's a starship going past. Woo! Yeah, see, that's how they used to do it in the olden days, believe it or not. Now the stand that my camera is on is starting to give way, which is not ideal. But that's the top view there, and you can see there's a lot of detail on the the various saucer sections and the comm arrays at the top there. So yeah, it's a clever piece of engineering. I think when that's up against a plain background, you won't really see the supporting rods. So it's a clever little piece of layout there. So yeah, so I think the Voyager episode is the only time we actually see it on screen, although did I see it referenced in the Next Gen as well? I think it's mentioned in scripts quite a lot, so that's definitely a thing, and it's definitely established as existing in some way, shape or form in the Enterprise era. So in that sense, it's obviously a well-established outpost, and obviously gives them a chance to put Jupiter in as a backdrop as well, which is never a bad thing. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed that. It's relatively pricey at the moment, although I have actually seen, I think this is on buy one get one free offer at the time of recording. So if you have a similarly priced model that that you wanted to get, then there might be a really good time, because actually you would effectively get it at half price, which is cheaper than I got it for. Not that I'm bitter at all, but that does happen from time to time with Eaglemoss. You can't really avoid that. At some point, whatever you buy from them will end up being cheaper. But the next video I do will reveal why I decided to get this now rather than later. So I'll leave you with this one and do the next one. Cheers for now.